Okay, we cut a narrow piece of paper here. We've got our rudder set up square. We clamped our guides so that we hold both ends of this exactly where it needs to be. And I'm taking a C-clamp, and I have two angles here, one over here that I got in place, and then this one here. You just slide this on in here, and it wraps the paper right around the bottom of the rudder here. And we can go ahead and we can trace out our actual rudder. Now we know that this blade is 1/8 thickness, so we'll be setting that up as well. Now our jig that we use to create the top is the same jig we're going to use to create the bottom. We did have to cut it a little shorter because we got to get by a clamp here. Now this here, I'm just going to be putting a series of marks. And this will go ahead and lay out the end plate that we're going to use. Alright, and then we'll come across the front here. And we know it'll be buried in about there. Okay, so this is going to be our outline for the bottom plate that we'll wrap around. And of course, this line here, we're going to go ahead and bury this. We're just going to say that that is the end of the curve. That is the end of the curve right there. Alright, now we're going to pull this off of here, and then we're going to just finish drawing it out. We're going to go scan it, and then we can import this into the plasma cam and double it and create the shape that we want to go ahead and make for the bottom. Now there is going to be a plug put in this position here. Instead of a zinc being put down here, we're only going to put the one zinc at the top that the customer wanted, and we're gonna put in, just because of how narrow this is, and after building the pocket for the top one, we know it's almost nearly impossible to have a stock zinc bolt in and have a cup the size that we need to on the bottom side here. Okay, here we pull our paper out, we're getting ready. We're just going to go ahead and draw in that straight line right there and kind of tag this in a little bit better. We could probably even leave it like that because we're so brilliant. We're going to be drawing that line on the plasma cam itself. So we may draw this straight across here, and we can scan this in two sections, and then we can take and put the two scanned parts together in the plasma cam. our second bottom piece cut out, and the other one's already curved, and we're going to show you how we create the curve on the front and the curve on the rear. And we laid out where the stem is, and this is the start of the line of the curve here, and the curve actually starts right at the edge of there. Alright, so we're going to go over in the hydraulic press, and we got a jig kind of set up to bend these two bends here, and this is about an inch larger radius than this is back here. Now the rattling you hear in the background is a fluorescent light overhead, and I need to get out and get my ladder and get up there and change that bulb out. Anyway, it doesn't matter because when we turn this hydraulic press on, you're not going to hear that anyway. Alright, this is a standard plate with two pieces of Aquamet 17. I use a lot of scrap Aquamet 17 for a lot of jigs, toolings, pressing, the all threads that hold my press together, the pins that go through hold the table. It's very, very strong material, and it's useless as far as marine shafting up in these waters because electrolysis eats it up real fast. Anyhow, I made two of these, and this pair here, the bar is probably 2 inch. I don't know what the distance is in here. Yeah, 2 inch. And then my other one is like an inch or so. So I have a couple different set of different widths. And this one here happens to work out perfect for what we're doing here on this curve or this radius here. Now, the front is like a 6-inch radius, and the back is like a 4-inch radius. So I actually use two different pieces of material here to create the bends. Alright, and first off, I'll fire it up. Get some clearance in here. Alright, and I start over here at the edge. I want to try to hit in the middle, and then I want to work that radius over to it and curve it where I need to. Now, when I first start this off, I go ahead and just come on down, and I get a little bit of a light pressure on here. Alright, now I'm going to walk around the outside and kind of make sure that it's all straight in line there. And it's off. Pretty good right there. Alright, so I give it a little bit of a tweak here. And I'm trying to roll this out towards the front here. Pretty nice. You can see how it holds to the radius right there. Now it still looks like it's coming out here, and we're probably going to have to choke it back, but we're going to go fit it onto the piece to get a visual and see how much more we need to curve it here and how much more it needs to be curved back to this point here. So let's go take a look at that. We just kind of line these eyeball up here, even with the stem, okay? Now you can see that we need to choke. Right here is about the flat. We need to bring that back to where we work it in here, and then that will slowly come on down and touch this surface right here. Alright, and we're still lined up with the line back here starting there. That looks good. Alright, so at least that now when you look at the press and you see where I'm working it, and I'm going to be walking back and forth between here and the hydraulic press till I get it to come in there and fit the way I want it to. But if you look at it like this, that's the perfect radius for that right there. So all we need to do is just bring more of that radius back into the part up to this line right here. Check it real quick. And that's good. We just need to bring it back closer to the line. That's looking pretty good. about a 1/4 inch gap in the nose here, so just barely, it's almost there. What usually happens here is I usually take it just a little bit past that and end up having to open it a little bit and kind of really tilt it. Let's see if I can do it without. That looks like this was raising about a 1/4 inch from where I thought here. Okay, I think that's a good fit. Let's show you. Line up the lines there and right there. Maybe a little bit, but we're going to go ahead, we're going to work on this some more. We can put this one right back in and grab that just a little bit, but sometimes if this kind of puts in here, a 1/16 of an inch either way as far as the width of here, I think we're going to be feathering it in pretty nice anyway. So it's not a real hard bend, but you got to kind of play with it, and you know, if it is a little bit too much, then we'd have to open it up. And we try to be as mild as we can with the little impressions from when the metal's bending and the round rods that are pushing it on that side. The inside is nice and smooth where the aluminum hits it. So it'll give us a nice joint right up next to that. Now this other end is going to be the same, except for it's just a little tiny short piece right there that we got to do. Stick up here, but we can tap that in. Let's go check the fit. Just a skosh more. Let's go see how it looks on the bottom of the rudder. Now both the front and the trailing edge are really fitting in there real nice. Okay, looks like we're ready to put in a drain plug hole. It's going to fit in the center here, and the drain plug in the top end, we're all set. Okay, we're just going to be drilling and putting a hole in each one of these for our pipe fittings, and this is like a half a coupling. We bought them pre-made just so we don't have to go through the effort of doing the machine work. And they were only about $5-6 each. And they're matching material as well. That's rate 316 stainless steel as well. All right, we got a little bit of table down here. And slow down our speed. There we go. That might even be a little too fast. It's not a high quality drill bit I have here, so whenever that comes about, I try to run them as slow as I can. Get the longest life out of the quality. I'm using the feed that's locked in the hand wheel, so I got more control over it and I don't happen to get sucked into it. And hopefully a drilled hole is going to be close enough to give me a nice fit here. Yeah, I like that. Where it kind of holds itself in there. I chose to do them instead of plasma cutting those holes so that I had it pretty well off the get-go. Now the last one I drilled with a 5/16 drill bit, and then I went in with the 3/4, and it seemed like I was pushing the 3/4 quite a bit more than I would like to. So, and now this time I'm gonna go with a 3/8, which is half of the diameter of the 3/4. And let's get that zeroed in here. And we gotta speed up our speed again here. Then I can get a better eyeball on the alignment with our center punch. Okay. And I just wanted to compare the amount of pressure that it takes to run the 3/4 in there. Now you see how that lifted, it grabbed a little bit. You got to be careful. This is only contacting on the widest part of that radius of the foil shape. You still could grab through and it could suck up and it could be nastyville. Alright. Alright, same thing. I'm going to come down and I'm going to use the feed wheel. It starts about the same as the other one. But then when it got out, it really started shaking around. It's doing a little tiny bit of that right now, but nowhere near what it was with the 5/16. It does feel like it's drilling easier. We got a nice uniform. Alright, I'm going to do the other two the same method. And now let's check and see how it affected our... Okay. Still gave us a nice tight hole. I physically can see that this hole is truer round than the first one. Alright. Now these are going to be a little bit offset. Because we don't have a relief in the center of the thing, so I put one off this side and one off that side there, so there'll be a right and a left, or a port and a starboard. Part of the tunnel, the actual shaft comes down through, and then the rudders are offset in the tunnel. So I'm going to try to put the top that open to the inside on both of these. So this is going to be really on the inboard side once you turn this over and the rudders are there. So this will be the port one and that will be the starboard one. Alright, let's get some RPMs in here. Well, I'm getting comfortable here and getting my seat set up. I've got all the components, the top plates, the bottom plates. We're all good to go. We're going to start welding the little pieces that got to be welded into these before we actually put these in place, because once they're in place, everything is going to be so tight we're not going to get good, nice bonds. And these are all basically through hull or water barrier locking areas, and we want to make sure that we get the best weld and sealing on them. And so I'm gonna be turning on the machine here, and after I get a little bit more comfortable, and I'm just gonna get you a couple little glimpses of what's going on. I'm not gonna really set it up to where you can see arc shots and things like that. I just would rather focus on basically how I'm going ahead of putting and fitting things together. I really believe Jody at weldingtipsandtricks.com and his YouTube channel can give you some excellent weld shots, and I think it's well worth to watch his channel and learn what he actually has there for you to pick up on welding. And I would just like to focus on what I do as far as fitting and that type of thing. So I'm getting ready. I'm going to grab my helmet and stuff, and I'm not quite comfortable here. I got to move my mat and stuff. So I'm going to get set up, and then I'll probably get you over there and give you a couple glimpses of at least how I'm rotating, fitting around. And we're just going to come in and take care of this one seam vertically, and then we want to seal that crack all the way around because that's going to be exposed to the outside. And then we want to get them in place and tacked, and then we want to do this weld, and we're going to do this weld around here, and the two standoffs that go in here, those have got to be welded in the same fashion as the rest of it. And then our two drain and fill plugs, because we're actually going to be filling these rudders up with a liquid after we get them completed to keep them from sweating on the inside, and buoyancy, and also a medium pressure, so that if there was an impact on it, they also stand a better chance of staying full shaped. going to do a couple fusion tacks on here. What I'm doing is we actually got one of our plug fittings in here. I put 2 of my broaching shims, which are about a 1/16 of an inch thick, and I put those underneath here, and I'm going to hold this by hand, and I'm just going to reach over here and I'm going to do a fusion tack. And our ground is really on our clamp here where we hold most of our work, but the table's steel, and everything's going to be grounding right through our part and the table and everything, and we're just going to put a small fusion tack and move it over. Okay, and I'm just take a quick look at it. Make sure that it's level to the eyeball there. And we're just going to give it a little tap there. That looks good. A little bit more maybe. Yeah. Alright, I like that. Alright, now we can go ahead and we're going to grab a hold of this so that we have a good ground on it, because we're going to do a little bit more tacking in this spot here, and we're probably going to go ahead and add a little bit of rod this time. Getting on to doing some finishing welds and stuff like that. You're going to really see me really keep there with my gases and everything else, because we're going to want to make some good sound. We're trying to get the best finish we can on a lot of them, and so that's going to protrude up there. I got this about half set into the frame here, or the outside skin. The side looks a little bit low. Always a little bit high. What we'll probably end up doing is tacking the very end here, and then we can tap until we get those to rock back and forth where we want them. And we got to add in the studs that we're going to do here. So kind of tacking it all together. We're going to go ahead and get this set level in here, and then we're going to add in the other pieces there. I think before we add the pieces, I'll probably do the inside weld down there in the bottom. It's just going to seal that joint, or that seam.